Hey guys, I want to go over with you today this formula which I found online through somebody else, and then I've put it into a chart to make it really easy for you. So, firstly, if you're part of the Discord, which is free to join, you can get a copy of this chart under chart templates. So, there it is right there for you guys. Now, let's go over it. So, what it is, it's a clever formula that calculates the VIX futures term structure, the spread, as a percentage. Essentially, it's measuring the contango or backwardation in real time. I'll throw this image up on the screen for you now, showing you the different percentages with strong contango, moderate contango, flat curve, and backwardation. You can grab a copy of that on the Discord group as well. But basically, it's a regime filter. So when the reading is above 8%, markets are complacent, short volatility strategies, can be used at that point, etc. But what I've done to this chart to make it even better, and I'll take you through this, how it's working, I've applied the trend indicator that we use as well as the buy and sell indicator. And it's picking up indications of when to buy and when to sell of what the market's about to do before it does it. It's actually really clever. I'd say it's about 90% successful, and we're going to see that here in a minute and why it is. So what we've got at the top here is the ratio between the VX2 and the VX1. Down the bottom is the S&P. So stick with me and we'll try and work through this together. So let's take this first signal up here on the top chart on the 21st of February. We got a sell signal right there, the red diamond, and the downtrend change as well. We obviously also got that there on the S&P using the same indicator. So that's obviously a pretty clear-cut case to get in and get out. We then had this buy signal. If you have a look here, the buy signal was on the 11th of March. If we look at the chart below, we'll try and line those up a bit, make it a bit better. If we look at the chart below, let me zoom in here for you so it makes it a bit easier. So see this green diamond in the top chart? 11th of March, we had the buy signal. And line that up again. So there we go, 11th of March. You can see there that is before the buy signal here. So essentially, it gave you 2 days head notice that the market was going to curl up at this point. That's an advantage. And then it's followed through with a trend change here on the 12th. So basically saying, get prepared, it's going to curl up. See how advantageous this is right here. Now, you see here on the green, we're starting to roll over at this point. And you can see a downtrend change that's come in place here on the 28th. And now obviously that was the same here, but when you started to see it roll over, that was your signal. That's if you wanted to play that move. That's not necessarily the best move to play, but it is a move. Let's carry on. We've had the trend change here. That's obviously lined up on the same day. So that's all good, all green there. But then have a look at this one here. We've had this downtrend change. It's rolled up here, and then you got a sell signal. It gave you that pre-warning before this happened down here on the S&P that this is what's going to take place. It's ahead, but it's giving you the information. Market still climbed, but it was weakening, and that's what we were seeing here in the upper chart. Now, if we continue on here, we've obviously had a big shift here, and it gave you the big sell signal and a downtrend change. And look what happened there. That was a market peak right there. It downtrended and went away. And now here in the upper chart, we had a trend change signal and it lined up with the same day. So safe to get back in. That would have avoided all of this loss. I don't know how much percentage loss that would have been, but let's have a quick look. 2.6% loss. You would have avoided all of that. Okay, so then we continue on. We've had another trend change here. Obviously, this didn't come to fruition, but we did have the same sell signal in the market at that point. That's the 90% part. I think that was the one that I found that, you should have held through that. But hey, if it's right 9 times out of 10, that's better than, most things, right? So then we've had the trend change here in the upper chart. Safe to get back in and ride it through. We've obviously had the downtrend change and sell signal on the upper chart here, which was late, but you actually had the sell signal on the S&P the day before that shift. So if you have a look here on the S&P, let me make sure these charts are lining up. Okay, so we're looking at the lower chart right now here. You had a downtrend change and sell signal, and it was a strong sell signal. You can see that by the large red diamond. So that avoided that particular loss. Then you've had your trend change signal here on the 4th of August on both charts. So ready to go again. You jump back in again. We've had a downtrend change here on the VIX, but we've actually had a buy signal on the market. Now, you can actually see that it did roll over. So here the VIX was, still climbing, and you could have actually got out on this buy signal. It's obviously mixed signals, so very hard to play that particular instance, but again, saving you from that. This is obviously zoomed out and flattened because the S&P doesn't normally look like this. I mean, if you normally look at this sort of market structure, it's quite different. Anyway, in any case, let's keep walking through. So the next one up here, we're all green, all good. We've had a downtrend change there. That was obviously the one we just did. So next one here, we've had the big sell signal at this point as well on both charts. Not much you could do about that. It's the same day for both of them. They've signaled to get out. If you're running a stop loss, that would obviously pay attention there. Now let's keep moving on to the next one. We've had the uptrend change on the same day. Again, they're working together in synchronization. Market down the bottom is starting to roll over, and the VIX is also showing the same, rolling over there. Then we've had the downtrend change signal in the futures, the VIX futures, and we've had the sell signal on the market on the same day. So coinciding with each other on that particular one. Interesting here, we've had the uptrend change on both, so safe to get back into the market. And then we've started to roll over again there, which is obviously flattening here. We've had the sell signal come in here, which is at the market peak essentially on the 10th of December. So avoided all of that loss down here. And then we've had the uptrend change here that actually buys you in on the 18th of December down here. Where is it? Just there. Try and line that up. On the 18th of December on that lower chart, which obviously gets you through it before the trend change and before the buy signal. And then interestingly here, I noted this in the Discord the other day. I think it was Monday or Tuesday night, because this is when I created this chart, and I said, this is rolling over now. It's actually rolling over right now. And we obviously got the downtrend change signal, and the market, as you would all know, be aware of right now, it did obviously pull down. So very interesting, what's happening there. If we turn off the trend, you'll obviously, so we had that large down day yesterday, and there's obviously some recovery taking off. Obviously, this doesn't look like much on this chart because we're zoomed right in and we're splitting the screen. But when we go to, the full size chart, we can obviously see exactly, what's happening and be aware of it before it happens. Very, very interesting and cool way of doing this. I actually calculated if you bought and sold based on the future chart signals and the S&P 500 signals combined. So you're utilizing both trend changes and sell signals from both charts for 2025 year to date. All of 2025 to the current day, you would have returned a 44% gain in the market. So incredible. And with that 44% gain, that's obviously in comparison, all of 2025, the S&P did like 16.8% or something like that. So massive, massive advantage over what you could have achieved if you bought and held versus jumping in and out, utilizing the indicators and utilizing this chart. Like I said, guys, this chart is free, available on the Discord. You can get a copy of it from there. And then if you wish to apply the indicators, they are paid, obviously. Okay, I just wanted to show you this feature as well to get the notifications for when this happens. So using these particular indicators, what I've done here is you click on alerts, add an alert, and then what I basically did to get notified of these particular changes is I set the trend indicator up to send me a push notification for when it downtrends or uptrends. And then what I also did is set a buy and sell notification for the sell signal and the buy signal. So essentially, when this upper chart fired the buy and the sell signal, it told me in real time. And if we have a look here in my log, I was actually notified here of the downtrend change. And you can see that that was 12 o'clock or something. This did fire off many times, and I think I reinitiated it because I wanted to keep getting informed. But essentially, it first fired off at 4 a.m. Eastern time as soon as market opened on the 7th, which was right here. So I was getting those signals straight away before the market even opened, and I could actually see that that's how it ended up playing out. If we look at how the market went, let's just go on, say, a 30-minute chart. What happened, this was obviously yesterday, we saw that the market pushed up and then fell down. And that was exactly what the indicator said would happen. I did actually play this a couple of times to the short side using SDS. Very, very cool. I didn't stay in it for long enough, but cool way of playing both sides, upside and downside. I'm going to do a small challenge soon with this particular indicator using SDS to the downside and SSO to the upside, right at both directions. And let's just see how it goes. Anyway, thanks guys. Have a great night. Bye.